It's your boy Fat Man. Welcome to the Not Holding Back part of the channel. Now, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, and I'm going to do one of these with the utmost urgency because I have to go to the store. And this is a 15-minute video of a YouTuber that I watch and I enjoy, and you'll get to see who it is. I do love the man's content. He has a lot of conversations. Now, you can call this a reaction, but also me having a conversation. Because the Not Holding Back series goes into a lot of these things that YouTube doesn't like, but for freedom of free speech against the government, towards conversations, and to hate, and to anything I want to talk about, this stands the highest motivator of the Not Holding Back series. Some of you may say, well, this could be racially blah blah blah. I don't give a fuck. As a black dude, half black, Dominican, whatever the fuck, I can talk about these things. I have a right to talk about these things. And if I hear a conversation that I see the one to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. Either it be in gaming, either it be in anime, either it be in the real world. It's hard to get into politics because I don't know what's the left and what's the right, and I don't know which one's the donkey or the fucking elephant. So I don't care when it comes to politics. I'll probably talk about the shit that happens around the world, but not like how Ukraine and then Russia is doing their shit. But I'm going to talk about conversations that align with how I feel in the moment. And right now, I watched the video before. I'm going to watch it with you, and I'm going to break it down. So, let's get into this. Cool. We're here with SNEAKO and his brother. And this, you already see the title, The Truth About Blacks and Asians in America. And the real truth about it is, I want to hear what this motherfucker got to say. So, let's get into it. And for some of you that don't like SNEAKO, if you've never heard of him, he does this, to break down his channel, I'm going to do it really quick for myself. He does kind of a meta commentary. He talks about just things that are on his mind, questions of how the world and people see each other, and just has giant discussions. He makes fun of shit. He has fun with shit. He has dope editing. And you could say he makes sense with things or he doesn't make sense with things. I really don't want to break down a man's channel that I myself just enjoy. You know, I usually say he likes to have discussions and conversations, and he likes to pinpoint shit. If you want me to react to other stuff on his channel, let it be heard. If you don't, cool. Let's just play the fucking video.
Okay, I wanted to show you a video because you're the same race as me. Specifically, we react and talk about this subject because it's like one of the most obvious race subjects I've ever seen that everyone knows and no one's able to talk about it. This is my brother Vince. He doesn't know what I'm about to get into, but do you have an idea about what I'm going to start talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You won't tell me what it is.
It's the most complicated race issue I've ever seen because everyone knows who's committing the acts, but we can't talk about it because it's going to sound racist. So we got to step in and talk about this. Let me show you something. This guy named Ducky Boy, I think I met him a couple times at a party. He's like Elliot Choi's friend, and I'm just going to show it to Vincent here because he hasn't seen it yet. So I'm not going to show it. It's another Asian hate crime committed by a black person. I'm going to show Vincent. It's probably going to get deleted if I show it here. So.
All right.
So basically, we just see security camera. The first video is this guy Ducky.
You see his brother's face already? His brother's face ain't looking good. Like he's like, oh fuck, are you serious?
Mom getting pushed over in a parking lot, and then you see the preceding events where this black guy is trying to buy something at a store, but he would just pay for his girl stuff and he didn't pay for his stuff, and he's basically stealing, like trying to act dumb. And so the cashier, this guy's mom, comes and steps outside like, you didn't pay, and then he just pushes her over, just completely pushes her over. She's an old woman. I don't know how old she is, but she's a grown woman. She's not built to be pushed like this by a grown man. Yeah, this is what he looks like. I can show this. This is the guy who...
That's an ugly nigga. It's crazy that he's wearing... You see him wearing the glasses, and he got the full beard. Damn, bro, you look mad suspect. Like, damn.
This is in LA, if you know him, if you've seen him. And this shit really bothers me. It really bothers me seeing stuff like this because it's like, it's unprovoked, and it's just an act of violence, and it's because it makes me really uncomfortable because Asians are seen as the weaker race, and that's why that's why we get picked on like this. In America, we're seen as the weakest. But the thing that nobody's talking about, I've been to like these protests before. I stood outside the fucking Elmhurst Hospital with China Mac because some lady was hit with a brick in the head by just a random crackhead at 7 a.m. I've seen that. Since COVID, it's like been tripled, but there's been so many instances of attacks on Asians, and who is doing it every time? Who's doing these like unprovoked, violent attacks on Asians?
Asian people.
Okay, what race? What race? Have you been paying attention? Have you looked at the statistics? Have you seen? I've been looking at all these videos since it happened. Like, obviously, it's been.
You think it's black people?
It's only black people. It's like 92%. I don't have it in front of me, but it's like literally it's there. Trust me. And I've seen all these attacks over and over again. Every time I see one of these things, this is a guy that I know now. Like, that's how big it's getting. It's not just like people.
Are you sure about that though? I don't know. My experience, like it's, I've been called a chink before. And
no, attacks like this.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about just like
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these unprovoked attacks, bro, where people get.
All right, so I'm gonna stop him there. Since COVID, and I don't know what you want to call it, right? You could call it Trump. Once Trump opened his mouth and said the virus is from China, it triggered a lot of black people to attack Asian people. You've seen it, a Asian person getting sprayed down with Lysol on the fucking train in New York City. I seen that shit. And some black lady or Spanish person is doing it. I've seen it. And you've seen the assaults get more and more and more severe. A guy trying to defend his store, and I don't know what city, with a sword, Asian man, trying to fight off these kids, and he gets fucked up because they're gonna rob and break his fucking store. And these are just kids from the hood. They weren't even Black Lives Matter. They weren't even protesters. If anybody out there was confusing the looting for the people who were protesting, there are people out there who protested and went home. And they wanted something done. And I'm not talking about the Black Lives Matter person that stole that money. Fuck that bitch. I'll talk about that sooner or later. But I'm talking about just people out there who just robbing, hurting Asian people for no fucking reason. And it was, some were black, some were white. Like, it's like people said, oh, black people burned down a Popeyes or a Wendy's. Black people don't do that shit. Black people don't do that shit. It was white people. That's the truth. Black people don't burn down food that we like. Like, you know what I'm saying? How many black people go to Wendy's and Popeyes? You know what I'm saying? These aren't jokes. They're true. Like, Wendy's is top tier, like, good nuggets, good burgers for a black person. I'm just saying. Fries, they could work on their fries. But attacks have been getting worse, and it's all recorded, it's all documented. The black person, it's a little older, they're a little insane. A boy just killed a old elderly black man, and the fucking mom in a video, and I saved the video somewhere, the mom says in the video he should be out here with his family. Your grandson just killed somebody, and she had no remorse for the other family. That shit made no sense to me. It was disgusting. Your son or grandson killed someone, an Asian man. Your young son just went out there and killed this Asian man, unprovoked. Just, I'ma fucking kill this guy. And then what? You go to fucking jail, and then she's like, he should be out here with us. No. That hurts me. Cause look, listen. I worked in the hood, bro. I worked as a security guard in the hood. This shit can go from okay day to people shitting on you when you tell them, I can't open the door for you. You don't live here. And they yelling at you like you their fucking, like you their ball. Like they fucking pay your checks. They don't. Like, for real. It's been fucking disgusting. But the crimes have gone up. And it's just this innate ability in people that say the virus, Asian, China. And they don't know the fucking difference. They think all Asian people come from China, Japan, wherever the fuck. There's no difference. It happens. It's bad to say that. But I live in New York, where a lot shit has happened here and in other areas of this fucking country. You can't tell me it hasn't. Japan stood with Black Lives Matter. People in Japan, the youth, they stood. People in China, people around the world stood with Black Lives when black people were getting hurt. And then black people stood for Asian people getting hurt out here. But then the people just kept making it more than it is, you know? And it's bad to see someone get attacked, especially an elderly woman. Like, you don't do that to no one's grandmother. Oh, just shove her because you're stronger. Because you didn't pay for your shit. You pay for your girl's shit, but you didn't pay for your shit. I'm gonna steal this. Nigga, that how broke you are? Come on.
About that. I'm talking about these unprovoked attacks, bro, where people get sent to the hospital. Like old Asian women getting pushed over because they're seen as weak. What race is doing that?
I don't know. I don't watch the videos that much. This shit makes me sad.
Okay, now we're going to do some, like, empirical. We're going to, research it right now and give a statistic, because I'm talking on my ass right now. I'm just saying what I saw. I don't have an actual statistic, so let's see. Okay, this is from the FBI. Anti-Asian hate crimes rose 73% last year, and this is from the end of 2021. It rose 73% in since COVID started. It's absolutely blown the fuck up. Not only has the attitudes towards Asians gotten worse, but everybody has so much more pent-up rage and anger now. And we're the victims of it. Well, I mean, half of us. I'm half we're half Filipino. The other half is people think I'm half black. I was just messaging Jimmy about this because he posted on his story. I'm like, yo, it's always black people. He's like, that's half you. And so this is why, like, I think I'm able to step in and talk about this because everyone else is afraid to say it. Every Asian knows this. Every Asian who's watching me talk about this right now knows I'm right. They know that black people are committing all of it. Everyone at the protest, it's like the most uncomfortable thing that we can't talk. We're all standing there with the signs. I'm there with China Mac. I'm like, who did it? Like, who was it? He's like, it was a black guy. It's like, so what you think about that? He's like, he's been leading all these protests. Like, China Mac's like lives in the hood, you know?
I mean, it depends where you are. Like, where I am, there's not a whole
This was in LA. Yeah. This is on the West Coast. This is closer to you than me. Bro, LA's closer to Vancouver than New York, bro.
Yeah, in Vancouver, though, there's not a lot of black people. There's still...
That's why there's no Asian... Bro, are Asians getting attacked in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that really?
It's going up, same thing. Like, I don't know the exact stats, but, like, I know it's risen. I've heard stories from friends saying that, like, people are harassing them on the street.
But I'm talking about, like, the violent attacks. Like, the one I was standing, this old lady was in a coma, bro. This lady from Queens. So, like, we went there for, like, multiple days just waiting to see if she'd wake up.
So why do you think it is? Why do you think it's black people?
Want to hear I don't have the stats. Like, someone put it out. Musa editor, somebody put up the stats because it is what it is. So the first question, the uncomfortable question is are black people more racist than white people towards Asians? You just said it. Like, you don't think so. You've heard.
I'm not sure. It depends where you are.
I don't think so either.
It's not black people are more racist towards Asians. It is that there are other black people out there that are more reckless and are going to take advantage of anything that they seem to do, right? A lot of the Asian attacks were against elderly Asian people, never someone that's in their youth, like I don't know, maybe like, let's say middle age, like, 30s or 20s, right? I have heard other stories and see other things on Instagram that it has been in, teens, 20s, stuff like that. But attacks like this, it's only been the elderly. And it's been very kind of, I don't say divisive, very fucked up. Because if you're an elderly person, you can't defend yourself the way I can. Or the way these two guys can. Right? And don't get me wrong, SNEAKO and his brother can probably pop on a guy. So can I, right? If this was my grandmother and I'm around the block and someone touched my grandma or I have like 3 grandmothers. And if something goes wrong, I have to instinctively break your neck. It is what it is because there are niggas out here attacking elderly people like they think it's a game. Stop, bro. You fucking with the wrong person's grandma, they might come at you and put you in the grave. This is truth. 100%. There are niggas out there who don't fuck with certain people's like family, grandmothers, any of that shit. Even in you in the hood, it's like, nah, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody's grandma. But there are young, reckless niggas out there that will fuck with your grandma, your grandfather, do all this crazy shit because they think they're young and unstoppable. Then they find out who they touched was someone they shouldn't have touched. And then that person comes and they find you, it's over. They're putting you down. That's a warning to people out there. That's a straight warning to people out there, right? And some people's like, oh, he ain't gonna find me. New York City may be big, but there's less areas to hide. There's a lot of places you can hide, but let's be honest. When the streets start talking, they gonna start pointing. I don't care what no one says, oh, ain't nobody snitching in the streets. No, if someone wants to find you, they're gonna find you. Period. That's how it goes. A nigga on the train tried to kidnap some chick, and then they found him and stomped his ass out. They found him and they stomped him the fuck out. Bro, he tried to kidnap and rape a girl on the train as she was sleeping near her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was sleeping. Dude tried to pick her up and run with her, and then they found him and stomped him out. Like, the streets will find you if they know that they want you. Period. Pause. But, black people, I don't think black people are more racist. This comes from a black man, right? I can joke and say what I want to say, but there's a lot of black people out there that have intentive, I can't say hate, but just dickheads. Like, why are you a dickhead? Because they want to be. Some people are just reckless. Like, they don't give a fuck who they hurt. And if you're just in there at the right time, in the right moment, they strike it on you. And it's bad. This person could be having the worst fucking day possible. Especially, you just go to the store and you only pay for something. The grandmother's like, yo, you didn't pay for that. I'm stronger. I'm much younger. You're much older. Goodbye. Simple as that. Just a push, a shove. I've seen worse. There's been an elderly man that's been choked out or hit with elderly woman hit with a brick. This has been bad. It's been fucked up. And just because these older Asian people are being attacked by younger people, and 9 times out of 10, in a few of the videos that you can see, the person is black. It's bad, but this person probably got something against Asian people. Why? Because they're a dickhead and they see, oh, it's an Asian elderly person. I can take it out on you, and you can't do nothing, and they'll never find me. That's how the mindset is. Except for that one boy that fucked with the Asian grandfather. Nigga went to jail.
I think that white people are any more racist towards Asians than black people.
SNEAKO got something wrong here because that's not true. Black people are statistically more racist towards Asian people than white.
He got a statistic? Holy shit.
That's not true. Black people are statistically more racist towards Asian.
Damn, this is the statistic? It's 2018. Okay. There were stats reported of Asian victims. Or worse. Whites. Okay, whites are like 24%. But alright, so we still see white people are pretty racist. And black people are damn. Only 18%? Alright, that's fucked up. 62 white? Are they sure? That's the US population? 62 white percent and 12, like, really? 12% black. I hope this is true. It's not counting 2020 too, right? This is 2018 stats. This is interesting. Okay.
People than whites.
I just think that they have different outlets that they're not, like, the uncomfortable truth. Black people are more violent than white people overall. More everyday, like, touch you, like, being like everyday violent.
Yeah. He has a point. I ain't gonna spaz on you, bro. I worked as a security guard over in this area, and the neighborhood ain't that good, but there's been this one black lady, her sister, this one Spanish dude has been a dickhead, and I think his brother. And they were just wilding. They were just, like, saying some extra shit. And I told the lady, yo, you gotta go. Basically, it was a gated park. You have to go back there with your sons, with your kids. Oh, let them back there. I told you to open the door. I'm like, no, just, you gotta go back there with them. I told you to open the fucking door. I fight niggas. What are you talking about? You can't talk to certain people. You can't use reason. The black man, you can't use reason. Reason? What the fuck is reason, nigga? Like, for real. Like, you can't talk to a person that just using violence. And she was a big bitch. Like, this, you could kick her in the back of her leg and she going down. Like, for real. That's how big she was. Especially when her sister, when her sister would be around, it would be none of that rah-rah shit, because the the one darker skinned person isn't around. And I'm not saying that she was darker skinned, she was rah-rah, but she was acting like a dude. She got 2 kids or whatever, and you act like a grown-ass man. Just because I told you to go in the back and be with your kids because they can't be back there by themselves. Because if they get hurt, that's not on me. That's on you. That's not on the building. That's on you. And that's just how it's going to be. They say, what you going to do? Oh, my kids got hurt in the back. Were you there watching them? And you say, yeah, when you know they got cameras in the back. Stupid. Think about that. Like, I've literally sat there when niggas have gotten all rowdy up. Especially most of the Spanish people working there. Like, this is coming from a half Dominican dude, so I'm guessing Puerto Rican, Dominican, whoever. Most of the people there, I'd be like, yo, you can't throw dice here. Niggas be like, yo, bro, how much I gotta give you to leave us alone? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm doing my job. Just go somewhere. Go somewhere else and roll dice. Oh, nah, bro, blah, blah, blah. How much I gotta give you to leave us alone? And it's always that shit. It's usually a 50-50. For me, since I've worked as a security guard, it's been 50-50. It's been the black people have been assholes. The Spanish people have been dickheads. When I moved to a different location, it stopped being the Spanish people were assholes and the black people were assholes. It was just like, yo, can you move along? All right, cool, I got you. And I think this is in New York City. I worked in the Bronx. I also went to a place in Manhattan. The area really defines what's going the fuck on. For real. The area defines what's about to happen. Especially if you live in a neighborhood that's been on the fucking edge of shootings, gang wars, a lot of violence, crazy shit happening day by day. I'm telling you, that area is on the edge of anything happening. That's where the Bronx have been, right? Now, when it comes to racial divides, there are more black people. I've been in like New York City high school, so like a lot of black people are quick to jump and fight you, especially those who like are in football, part of a baseball team, anybody in sports, or just that one kid you don't want to fuck with, but you do fuck with because he's like an easy target and he's just quick to snap, or that dude that's been hanging around all the Bloods, the Crips, the gang niggas, just thinking that he's gang, but he's not initiated or part of gang, but he can snap on you thinking that niggas are gonna fight for him. I hate that one dude. I seen that one nigga that he be like, oh, fuck out of here. My hands is steel. I don't think so. You may be cool with them, but you're not part of them, knowing that he thinks he's a shit. But still, that's just how it is.
They don't reserve themselves as much. Act more immediately, which is this. That's what you want to do. Everyone wants to do that, thinks about it. Black people are more likely to do that. It doesn't mean that black people are worse or like evil. Like, white people will end up, like, devising plans, and, like, the fact that they hold back all their anger, that's how they end up, like, shooting up a school.
It's, like,
it builds up. It's
more passive, and then all of a sudden...
Being able to push someone over...
Yeah, like, the boss, like, the shooter that just happened, this dude literally just shot up a fucking grocery store in Buffalo, New York, and he just put out a whole manifesto. White people are more, I'm gonna think about it, fester on it, let it fester, fucking devise and sink in them, and then they do crazy shit like this. That is true. Black people are more likely to be reckless, younger, depending on the age, is more reckless and say, fuck you. Because they're not afraid to do something. And it's true. Like, shit, somebody told me, oh, what you gonna do? I had to do something. I've been in situations where you have to do something or you don't. You walk away. There's too many of them. There's too much of you. You're going to have to run. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm fat. I've taken martial arts. I've lost a lot of weight. I've been in situations where I have to keep my very much cool. I had to learn to keep my cool and be reserved instead of snapping. I used to be the chubbiest dude to snap, 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 snap. Because there's what's going to happen if I don't snap. You're going to snap first. So you snap first and I snap second. I've learned that from the longest. But some situations don't lead you that way. You know what I mean? And there are people out there who have been raised more aggressive because of their environment. Environment does do that to you. Your environment creates you. Any situation you've been in, any moment that's happened to you, that is your environment. I'm sorry.
Once in a while, they're just shoot one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you let it go. You know what I'm saying? You let it off your chest. It doesn't really change who you are. You don't need to write a manifesto. But that's why. Do you think that black people are more violent than white people?
Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily say that they're more racist towards Asian people.
I don't think so either.
I think that it's just like
white people are definitely more racist.
They'll be racist to Asian people in the workplace. There's more opportunities to be like, hey, can you do this? Or like just put them down, not give them the role. Black people, like, I guess they just, I don't know, they just have that built up anger sometimes.
And white people don't have to be everyday violent. White people,
the
police, this man, call the manager. They don't need to do that show. You could just fucking ruin their life financially.
True.
Black people, that's the power, is everyday violence. So
true.
What about your experience growing up? Like, I felt like I connect with Asian people a bit more just because, you know, when I was put down because of my race, it was always because I was Asian. Like, I've been called a chink, but I've never been called a nigger. And, like, that made me connect to Asian people a bit more because I can kind of understand, like, the shit that they go through every single day, the way that they're bullied and undermined all the time.
People don't look at me like an Asian person anymore. I don't feel like I get that, like, people look at me as a target or weak thing ever. And I'm in New York outside every day.
True, but you also gotta realize there are people out here in the city who he is outside. SNEAKO is outside. Let's just get that out here, right? And if nobody needs to know, New York City is number one. It's gonna go from 0 to 100 real fucking quick. The city does not play these games. The city does not hold back. It goes from this to fuck you to beating your ass as fast as possible. The day, man, it was just sunny and beautiful out, then it started raining, and it stopped, and now it's raining again, and the city will just be this weather. Bipolar as fuck. And sometimes you're not a target now. He's not a target now. But someone wants to be a dickhead, someone wants to be an asshole, someone wants to feel like they're unstoppable, that one day that person feels like they're unstoppable, they're gonna target, I don't mean SNEAKO, but they're gonna target the man or target someone that's just like him. You know what I'm saying? People choose moments to just be fucked up and to be unhinged. And also New York City, I think we have the highest population of homeless people. Mental health is a real big problem over here, and people with mental issues. So you can choose to see what happens with all three of those, and the violence, I don't want to say in gangs, but like anybody who's the most reckless is over here too. Here, Atlanta, Chicago, and maybe in LA. The reckless, the young and reckless is hard to find. Like, I've been reckless in my younger moments, right? I was out there being reckless, not crazy, I'm gonna fight you reckless, but I'm gonna have my fun, wild at the moon, take someone's tips. Just do what I had to do as a kid just to have my fun. And then I sit back and say, well, those are good moments, I'll never do them again. But they're also fucked up situations. You know, I've also done shit I regret doing, but I can't go back in time because these are learning moments for me. Other people, they'll never take that shit back. Oh, you know, they won't ever feel bad. They won't ever have guilt. They'll just take of it as another day. Somebody that takes somebody else's life, those people will live with that on their conscience forever. That kid that killed that old man, that he went to jail, and his grandmother was like, he should be out here with me. No, he gotta go to jail. No, he fucked up. He fucked up, period. And the law served him up, but the law missed out on other people. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to them, you know, they're not, I'm black. But me and SNEAKO, I think I'm darker than this kid, right? I'm darker than his brother. When it comes to being a black man in New York, a lot of times you gotta be on your feet. And a lot of other times you gotta be prepared to catch some problems. I don't know how to explain it to you either way. I've come home at night at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. I've come home at night from work at that time. Pissed the fuck off, hot, tired, sweating, saying to myself, is it worth it to come home at this time and sleep the whole day away? Honestly, it's never been. But, take things with pride. Let's continue.
Notice a shift. Like when I was a kid, I was Asian, but like after puberty,
not
after
just
high
like
school,
not just like with racism in general. I'm just talking about how people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how people have perceived me differently. Is that I've noticed my appearance change.
No,
I haven't got called a
racist
chink
act.
since like Bush.
That doesn't mean that you're not still Asian, or that doesn't show in your.
He's not saying that. He just says he hasn't been called a chink. So he's saying like I haven't been called that since Bush was like a president. But other than that, he's grown to look more like just a regular dude. Like, you know, I wouldn't know if they were Filipino unless he said it. You know, I'd be like, oh, he's black or he's whatever, right? But when he said it, I'd be like, oh, cool, Filipino dude. But he could be called a nigga by a black dude at any point because, you know, if you call black people, we say nigga. We call everybody nigga. Like, it's you may not agree, but we do. You shouldn't, but we do.
Personality of who you are.
Well, less.
You're still.
I'm saying less. Like that's a noticeable difference. That's noticeable enough. Like I never get stereotyped for Asian stuff. A lot of the time, you know what I've noticed? Like in college, looking what I am, like I kind of blend in with everything. So I get to observe and then see people's racism honestly because they forget that I'm a minority. So when I'm hanging out with the white boys, they'll let it like, I hate niggers. Oh shit, I forgot you're like.
But that's the shit that is happening day to day, right? He said it when he blends in with these groups, they'll let shit out. Like there's white people out there that have used the fucking N-word. Like he said, I hate niggers. That bro, they for real. Those white people feel that way. Period. Right? Whoever he used to hang around, there's shit that just happens underneath the surface that we will never know. But this man, I'm glad that he was able to go undercover and kind of be in these situations because what he's saying is the truth. And it's hard to, as a black person, to hear it because you know subconsciously there's a white person out there thinking it and have said it. 92% of white people have said the N-word. I'm going to say that for now. And if they said they never said the N-word to you, cool. Keep it that way.
forget I'm there. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm around black people, it's just like yeah, what's up, nigga? Yeah, nigga. It's just I'm a black person. You know, I just blend into the environment.
Experience
With Asians, no, Asians sometimes I go. So I sometimes stand in a circle like they're talking about like anime and stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
Bro,
I'm just saying. I'm just being honest, bro. That's like a conversation about like anime or like Asian stuff. I'm like engineer. I'm like, yeah, man.
It's funny how he said anime and engineer. Number one, I'm not an engineer, but I love anime, and I'm not Asian. So, well, actually, let's not talk about that. But when it comes to that, that's funny because it's like anime engineer. Like that's hilarious that he said that. He really, really said that. Because there's a couple of Asian people out there that I've met who are into anime, comics, and they're into art. I believe they might not understand full philosophy, or they might understand martial arts, or they might not understand, they're just artists, you know what I'm saying? And I met some Asian people who are somehow engineers into anime, or like sex workers into anime, and they're just like, oh, crazy. So it's wild.
I don't relate, bro. I don't relate.
You're probably just like not hanging around enough Asian people.
Yeah, that's
First
it too.
two things that come to mind for you are engineering and anime.
I'm thinking of the last conversation. That's the last conversations I've had with groups of Asians. Was anime and engineering, and I'm like, yeah, bro, yeah, totally.
I think you just got to reach out to more. Like, I think you have an audience to a lot of Asian people, like, kind of like breaking out of the stereotypes that we've had.
China Mac is like, he doesn't. Most Asians, they see that he goes to and organizes these protests and everything and rallies for Asians. Then they go to his Instagram and see him like, he's like smacking bitches' asses and stuff like that. He's rapping. They're like, what? Like they don't know what this is.
What can we do? Just keep rising up,
Rising up? Bro, that shit doesn't do anything. I stood outside that hospital for like 3 days like a fucking idiot, like for this lady in a coma. Didn't do anything.
But you went there. Number one, your brother means to rise up. And I usually want to pinpoint this with the rising up to have the conversation, to understand that there is unity with the Asian community, right? And if there's unity with black people that stand with Asian people and Asian people that stand with black people, then we're unified when we stand together with our own people and together as a whole. And when the shit just goes bad, period, right? The fact that SNEAKO's like, I stood outside that hospital waiting for the Asian lady to wake up and it was a waste of time. But you were there to support. Because what if it was your grandmother? You know what I'm saying? What if it was, I don't know, their mother? Like, that's some serious shit you gotta think about when it comes to these situations, right? He said he felt like an idiot just waiting out there to see what happens to the lady. Because you want to know, hey, is she okay? Hey, is she fine? She got hit with a brick. Obviously, she's going to be out for like 2-3 weeks. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? He was there for 3 days. Like, come on, bro. I know when someone gets hit with something, my back of my mind, she's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. Might not recover for like literally a week and a half. And then I can go back. And then I would probably say, like, all right, she's fine. You know what I'm saying? Don't even know if the older Asian woman is still fine from getting hit with a brick. You know what I'm saying? Don't even know if they fine. That's the problem, right? And his brother's making a point for Asian people to just lift themselves up as people. If you see some shit happening to around your neighborhood, just make a little night watch group to patrol your neighborhood for the Asian people. If you got elderly people, I've seen a video where an Asian dude got slashed up by these 2 black dudes. Slashed him up as he's sitting on his porch somewhere. I don't know where the fuck it was. They sitting on his porch somewhere. Like, it's fucked up that you can't even sit out on your porch at night and niggas is gonna sneak all the way in the back to the back of your crib or whatever and cut you up. You want to protect people? Protect people. You want to be there for them? Be there for them. SNEAKO may say it was a waste of time because he just was unsure. Like, was this the right thing to do? Like, what am I doing? Because people sometimes feel like you don't know what they're doing and they feel like the situation is useless. And understandable. I've been there sometimes, you know? Yes, I've never been in these protests, but I've been looking from the sidelines and saying to myself, these people are doing right. They're standing by people. They're doing what they have to do. But that's the biggest problem, where at the end of it, do you feel like you've done anything? You stood around, preached, you showed your support, but have you done anything? But you haven't, but you have. You know what I'm saying? And by have, you came out with other like-minded people to talk about it and maybe look for solutions or just wish for the state to do better. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can analyze from what his brother was saying, and also from what SNEAKO feels. But I broke these down in my best examples.
I'm talking about rising up and just like being who you are. Like, fuck, we just saw that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, that was really, 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 like, I don't know, that made me feel good. It made me feel like Asians are willing to put themselves on the map and not wait for someone to give them the opportunity.
Because they made a movie? But how the fuck are they going to stop getting beaten up in the street with bricks, bro? What does a movie like change about that?
Media changes perception, changes the way that people act. Growing up, who did we have to look up to? It was always white people or black people, but we never really had any Asian role models. Bruce Lee, yeah, but like we didn't really watch a ton of his movies.
Yeah, but like out there, even in the black community, it was Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li came out after during the Lethal Weapon days, and we wanted to see more of those movies, right? Jackie Chan had Drunken Master. He had a lot of movies that were coming out over there when he came over here as well. So these may be the Asian martial arts, I don't say stereotypes, martial arts guys who've influenced even the black people, the white people of the community, right? And he has a point. Who do we have growing up? 9 times out of 10 for myself, I saw media as an exploration of just shows that came out. Now I look at it, I'm like, yeah, they had a lot of white people. I shrug my shoulders like, do I have to care? Nowadays I don't, right? Because they say representation is important. Me, I see it differently. I'm like, representation is representation. Fine. I don't know if it's important. I don't ever think representation is important. I do think if you're representing a story that's been told and they have characters, yeah. Represent the story that's been told with those characters. If it's been set in Egypt, represent Egypt and how black people are represented in Egypt. If you're telling a story about the rebirth of Jesus in the modern day, cool. Cast someone that's dark enough or okay enough to look like a Jesus. Like, shit, I think Jesus was my skin color. Obviously, like out there where it's fucking blazing hot all the time, right? Didn't look well. When it comes to representation and how you feel, you gotta look at it. If a movie for his brother says, this movie inspires me, it will inspire other people to kind of grow and become better. It resonates with you a little bit. Just a food for thought, my bad. Let's continue.
Overall, though, even if we get represented in movies more, you know what? We also can't deny the fact, like I said, some racist shit about black people. Let's say some racist shit about Asian people. Asians are weak in America. Just the by far the weakest race in America. It's not even close. Like, there's a reason that we get targeted for shit like this. It's because, like, they know we're not going to fight back.
How do you define strength?
We're not going to fight back.
How do you define strength?
Bro, I'm talking about physical strength and also mental strength, too. Asians
mental
are...
strength? Who's the fucking... Think about all the CEOs in the world.
I'm not talking about CEOs. I'm talking about encounters on the bus, bro.
Physical,
when you get confronted on the bus and you make eye contact, Asians will turn their head away. I'm not talking about running businesses.
Yeah.
Like, this is like everyday stuff.
Mental strength, that's part of it, too.
Well, in these situations. And, like, I know Asians are smart. Like, we don't need it. We know that. But also, we could say Asians are by far, when it comes to physical, like, encounters and confrontation, by far the weakest race. It's not even close. We're pussies compared to the rest. Real shit.
So what do we do?
Like, you said movies like that, like, bring Asians more in the media and everything. Like, they kind of look like pussies in that movie, too. Like, maybe, I don't know, like... Asians are, like, our ideas and, like, the values we have in this country, like, staying away and not speaking up too much, being quiet, like, we raise weak people. It's in our DNA. How were we raised, bro? Shut up. Don't speak up. Don't fight. Don't say anything.
What do? We fought against it, you know? Like,
we had to rebel against the ideas of being Asian in America. Was, like, literally becoming strong for us was going against what our fucking family wanted. Our grandparents told us, don't run. Don't run, like, outside and play because you'll trip and fall, bro. Don't run outside because you could fall and hit your head.
I wouldn't say...
But I look at situations like that as kids are clumsy, but I also look at it as Asians, they are seen more weak in America, and it's just because how the Asian stereotype, right? Really reserved Asian person, quiet, to themselves, smart, all that stuff, right? But I've seen a lot of videos. Like I think Just Kidding News really gives you the best look of a Bart, the strongest Asian guy I think I've ever seen, and all of his friends, like from Joe to everybody on Just Kidding News. I think everyone in that area are like the best fucking Asian people I've ever seen in my life. Right next to Timothy De La Ghetto, Jimmy Zhang. was, to me, strong Asian dude, especially when he started learning how to fight. Yo, he's looked like he's the fucking man. There's been a lot of Asian representation on YouTube that I think these niggas are strong, you know, mentally, physically, and regardless, yeah, it hurts me too. Even Jimmy made a video when they were throwing eggs at them at a college, and I hated that because I've watched this nigga forever. Met him in person, I should have said, yo, your video on that college shit, that was crazy. And it was crazy you had to go through that, right? I didn't get a chance to tell the guy. But Asians in America are perceived as weak, but I do think that's the American stereotype when it comes to Asian people, like, don't stand out because we could be bigger targets because there's less of us here, and you know that's how it is, where we're a minority, not the majority. Like, black people, we feel like we're still the minority and everybody else is you know, the majority. Oh, there's more white people, or there's, like, you go to Chinatown or any part of New York, there's more of the Asian people there than there are, like, us. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. And some Asian people are more reserved because they don't want to stand out. They don't want to make noise. They don't want to disturb. They want to just live quiet and low for nothing to go fucking crazy. And for his grandparents saying, don't run, I understand that because you're kids. But then again, kids run and play and have fun. How do you stop and negate that fun? And as his brother said, we had to rewire our brains because they were keeping them meek. They were keeping them silent. They were putting a stranglehold on what they can and can't do. And sometimes your parents sometimes tell you to go out and have fun. And sometimes when you get a little older, like, hey, even when you're younger, be safe, don't talk to nobody, don't go nowhere nobody, don't do nothing, you never go with anyone, you never do this, you never do that. Like, the older you get as a black person, you start to realize, yeah, parents were telling you facts and truth. Watch this, watch out for this, learn how to swim, learn how to drive, learn how to do this, really watch your back for a lot of things. Even in the hood, bro. Like, the hood is outside my fucking window right now. And there's moments where you have to look over your shoulder here and there, you know, as a black person, because other black people are quick to just run up on you and take your shit. And then you don't give them your shit, you dying because they want your shit because they're hungry for it. His programming, their way of being taught was to stay silent and stay low key. And sometimes that works for a lot of Asians in America. Especially if you're a foreign Asian person, stay low key. Because they don't want to make noise. They don't want to get, like, attacked. They don't want to be reported. But then there's some Asian people that are going to be racist to black people. Like I think my ex said, the Asian lady said some really racist shit to her a long time ago. I don't want to bring that shit up. I don't even care about my ex. Fuck that bitch. So when it comes down to it, you as a black person, you as an Asian person, we all got some different shit, and that's gonna be how it is for them. Let's continue. My bad. I don't mean to keep pausing and stopping. The conversation here is strong.
Like, no, it's not all bad. It's not all
think
bad.
About that time that dude like went up to you and like ching chong, and then Papa went up and told him, like, if you say that again, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, he's not Asian.
Yeah.
Well, would a fucking Asian
Asian
father have done that? I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. I think an Asian father, don't listen to him, and then move on. I don't think an Asian father would have stepped up. Most of them, real talk.
I guess we gotta do
real
our
talk.
part then. Like, you know, change takes time. But I know when I have kids, like, I'm gonna treat them the right way. I'm gonna let them know, like, stick up for yourself. There's been times where I didn't stick up for myself, and get big. That's one of the things. Get big. Go to
Get
the gym,
big. Get muscles.
Do sports. Those are things that have helped me.
Yeah.
Find something to fight for.
Yeah, it's tough. Like when you're like studying to be a doctor and like you're playing violin and stuff like that. It's hard to have stuff to fight for. You know what I'm saying? Like just very different lives. We're playing violin with glasses on, and then black kids are like growing up in the hood, like literally like a jungle, like a concrete jungle. The projects, like that's different. That's like government. It's like legal prison is the projects. That's where black people grow up. We're playing violin and playing piano, eating sushi and shit, like making rice, tying up, like it's just different lives. Do you think that like
struggle sometimes helps with like toughening up? Like you were talking
yes,
about, like
yeah,
the most interesting people you talk to are like people that have been
have had adversaries. Yeah.
So what do we?
Asians never sit down. All the interviews I do, the 1 minute podcast, Asians don't sit down. Like every time I talk to them, they just look forward with the mask on, bro. They don't like talking to strangers. Asians want to have the least amount of interaction possible with strangers. And
That's
that
crazy.
makes you a target. When you look so afraid all the time, people are like, what's up with you? Like, talk to me. Hello? So it literally, if we want to help this and like change this happening, you have to reroute the whole idea of being Asian in America. Because like, you know, being engineers, studying hard, being a doctor, and it's not, you know, that you're going to get pushed over and shit like that. People are going to rob you and get away with it.
In true factuality, he has a point, right? Especially the concrete jungle part. Like, being from the hood, we have this you get exposed to gunfire, guns, drugs, hookers, transvestites, fucking violence every day. I saw a nigga get clocked in the face not too long ago, a couple years ago. I saw a fight in a bar. I saw fucking crazy shit happen, man. I almost seen someone get shot, right? So when things happen, like I've understand what he's saying, because a lot of black people, a lot of hood niggas, a lot of niggas I know, they grew up in the hood, and and it is a government jail. Like, it's the environment traps you here, and a lot of Asian people bring their kids and bring themselves to this country to start a better place for their kids and put them in a better environment. But then when they come here, I'm gonna say this because I remember I had a talk on a Twitter space about this, that a lot of Asian families that come here, they also read the media that the white people put out, and they also develop these racist stereotypes and tones, right? A lot of Asian people do develop racial shit against black people. If not so, then fine. Japan or China, right? These places do, and like they get U.S. media. And even though Japan has older racist Asian people there, there's more in the U.S. when it comes to white people, right? And black people, we grown up in the hood, our environment does shape us positively and negatively. Positively, you want to get the fuck up out of here and do better and see the world. Negatively, it eventually catches up to you, traps you, takes everything from you, and just makes you like everybody else. The hood will shape you, mold you into what you gotta become to become stronger and get the fuck up out of here, or it will mold you into something you don't want to be, that you fought so hard against, and that keeps you here, right? A lot of niggas get up out the hood. That's why the army is fucking knocking on everybody's door, or on Fordham Road. That's why they got army motherfuckers in your schools, like trying to recruit you as you graduate, like, or you're trying to graduate. Like, that's why the army looks at niggas in the hoods and they say, yo, come here. They don't go to like the white people rich high school. They're never over there. They're in your hood. They're at your schools telling you to be in the army. That's why the army looks at hood kids as kids from impoverished situations and be like, come here, little nigga. You want to be part of the army and fight for America that fucking brought you here? You know what I'm saying? My bad, I go on a tangent. But he has a point. For a Asian person that came over here, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, they're raised a certain way to stay away from everything bad. You will disgrace your family. You'll bring, I don't know, dishonor. It's about respecting your elders. It's about doing what your parents say, keeping your head on straight, becoming something, and moving forward. And just don't fuck with nobody, strangers or otherwise. And I can understand what he's saying, because he does the women podcast. And as he's saying, he tries to reach out to other Asian people, and it's a straight dub. I'm walking through you like you a ghost. I'm sorry, but he has a point. And when it comes to black people, I've seen a lot of people I know come from the hood and go somewhere and do better. And I've seen other people stay here and just be like part of the sauce. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
No, it's
and
not.
We gotta be part of the change.
Bro, it's not really changing. For real? It's not changing until we start talking about it. And no one's being honest about it now. Like, I look at all the comments of the IG post and was like, prayers up, so sorry this happened, so sorry this happened.
They can't do nothing.
It's gonna keep happening.
Because they can't do nothing. People that put the prayers up and that do that, I can't do nothing. And even for me, when it came to the Black Lives Matter, the George Floyds, the Breonna Taylors, when it came to these shits, you can't, as a black person, you can't do nothing. Even with the prayers, nigga, I still can't do nothing. All of that is people that just can't do nothing. There's no, when I say I want to do something, I want to do something. When I make my content, it's just me trying to create something so I can make better shit and eventually do something better. Maybe help the fucking world. Maybe invest. Maybe build houses somewhere. People who are doing that, just, I can't do anything. I'm sad about it. I want to put my prayers up because I will pray for you. And the situation is fucked. You know, he may not feel that way, and I understand, but there's nothing that other person can do. It is what it is.
It's going to keep happening. Like, real talk. Because no one, you know, Asians will all DM each other like, yeah, like, this is kind of weird, like, it's always black, but no one's going to comment it publicly because no one wants to, like, be a voice. No. Why are you identifying by you're identifying yourself by your race so heavily?
I think I identify with being Asian a lot because my struggles in life have been so tied to that.
Yeah. You know, what I think would help this issue more is like maybe getting black people to acknowledge it more. Because I don't see none of y'all talking about it. But you know it. Y'all know what's going on. It's one of those things that you're kind of just letting white people take the blame.
If black people talk about it, it becomes more of you're against your race, you're part of a problem, you're not supporting us, you're supporting them. It's all this shit that just keeps on happening if we start talking about it. So I'm going to give you some understanding here. It's not just some black people believe it's not all just about us attacking Asian people. They do see that there's other people doing it, which there are. Maybe the percentage is probably low, or maybe it's high, but he already showed the stats, so it's pretty high, but there's still white people out there attacking Asians, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to black people, I do think politically, black people are more involved. And not the niggas I know. Not the niggas I fuck with, not the people I know, but other people that aren't just in my social circles or who are more unstable, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. And this discussion only hits certain topics towards a community as a whole, but it might piss people off.
For it because they always get accused of the racism, so you're just letting that. And white people know, but they're not speaking up yet. It's just not that big of an issue yet because it's Asians. If this was black people, if this was like white attacks on black people, there would have been so many. But you know, Asians are like, eh. So
I don't even think there would be because there's never going to be like a huge protest in support of Asian people. In Batman, they kind of showed that. That was kind of like in the opening scene, there's an Asian guy on the bus and a whole group of thugs just
gonna try to beat him up just to get.
Batman did talk about that. That was kind of
I didn't even finish the movie, but it's just like that's exactly what it is, and they showed up. They know what they're doing. They're showing a problem. They're showing exactly the problem that people are afraid to talk about. I think black people justify a lot of that because they're at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of equality. So it's like I can get it. Like there's a sense of entitlement because you don't get shit and you get treated the worst, and so you're like, fuck you, I'm gonna speak up, like, because what the fuck are you gonna tell me? I don't have anything, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of excuse a lot of these things, like black people aren't really gonna like speak as a community and be like, yo, we should not do this because there's so many other issues that need to be addressed in the black community. So like little shit like shoving Asians doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I tell you, he's not wrong because a lot of black people, from an understanding of like, if you don't own anything, you don't have anything to your name, I don't give a fuck. Plus, when we were brought to this land, it's like we were called nothing, we are nothing, we're just tools for labor. We've been raped, we've been abused, and that's just our lineage in this country. We're not talking about the rest of the world, we're talking about in this country. And when it comes down to it, we are the first ones to snap, the first ones to be on pins and needles. They portrayed us in the media back then and now. And now they're trying to get our money, they're trying to culture vulture us, they're trying to do a lot more to us. And black people are the first ones to snap. I'm sorry we're the first ones to snap. And it's not every black person, just like not every cop is bad. But then we still keep seeing that each group has their own bad fucking apples. And it's bad enough that we are having these bad apples in our communities, right? Or they're just black people and they don't think of themselves as the whole. And that's fine, right? These topics become politically charged because, when I say politically, I mean like, I don't know who's going to use this and be like, this is a political type of talking point, right? These things are usually charged up because black people everywhere are like, nah, that's not true, and that's not true. But I'm like, nigga, I grew up in the hood. Like, I'm still here in the hood. You know what I'm saying? My mom grew up in the hood. Like, my family grew up in the hood. We fought to survive and just live our lives comfortably as we can as black people as we're here. We stay out of other people's problems. We do our own thing. If it's, you know what I'm saying? Keep your head down is kind of what you have to do as a black person nowadays. And then even then, but then when shit comes to your door, you gotta handle it. And we are the first ones to snap because we get pushed a fucking ton. So you can't tell us, you know, like, yeah, we're on the bottom of the totem pole in this country. It's actually, we're on the second level. It's Indians, of the Native Americans, and then it's black people, and then it's like everybody else, right? Everybody else at the whatever, right? Asians, I don't know, like you from Saudi Arabia, anyone that's more like Indian, and then every other race. The totem pole is pretty big when it comes to that, but let alone we are the first ones to snap because of how you're raised, environment. It comes back to environment. That's the fucked up part.
It's the least of their problems, bro. They don't care. Really funny to talk about because I think a lot of this stuff is obvious, but and I think a lot of people have made these connections, but we just immediately distract ourselves because it's like it's uncomfortable to think about it. Because it just now when I was saying it, I was like, oh, I'm saying racist thing towards black people, but am I saying anything wrong? Genuinely, in the comments, let's talk. I mean, this is not a simple issue. I want this to be a start, you know? Like, we're coming from a place of, like, you know, genuine empathy. For real. Like, I went, you know, it really makes me sad to see this stuff happen, man. And if we don't, and Asians too, we need to take responsibility. If we keep ignoring it, it's going to keep happening.
In all of that, SNEAKO does make a lot of good advantage points and understanding. Listen, as a black man, 29, lived in New York City for most of his life, shit has gone crazy. And I haven't seen the rest of the world, and I probably have to see what's the problem here. But, you know, he already talked about it with his brother, already analyzed and said what he had to say on this. Now, look, these situations get bigger and bigger than they are. I get it. But a lot of times, hate crimes do happen. We don't want them to, but they fucking will. And for this conversation, it's bigger than just my video, his video. It's a more bigger racially thing. And it is, as I've seen a lot of videos, it's been prominently black and prominently Asian. Yes, there are white shits happening. And this is coming up after some bitch-ass nigga just shot up Buffalo, New York. You know? So, the video is old. Well, it's a couple of days old. The conversation, though, it resonates. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. This is your boy Fat Man. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And check out SNEAKO. And tell me what you think. Peace. And I'm out.
Shit. Been on drum. You little niggas gonna stop acting like my shit ain't the grill. Some of you niggas get your front teeth for grills. And I ain't talking about the contract.
Ain't loving these fake hoes. Room smelling like 8 switches. Room service like 2K. NBA, I'm ballin', nigga. All the niggas falling like autumn, nigga. Talking shit, I saw them niggas. Now they daughter want a picture. Rough, ain't it? Fuck famous. Yeah, niggas too real, got the most haters. Wrote a story so Stephen Curry. How it feel to be golden.